third years, how are you? I really hope you're well. Last lesson we were writing introductions about how a frightening atmosphere is created in the Sandman. You should have told me the name of the film, the short film or stop motion film, animation, sorry. You should have told me who directed it. You should have told me the plot of it. And finally, you should have told me the 3 things that help create a frightening atmosphere. And they are setting, camera angles, and what's the last one? Music. Yes, oh goodness, forgot them. Right, so that should have happened last lesson. Today we're going to be writing our paragraph on setting, or as we say in the business, mise en scène. Or I usually say mise en scene because that helps me spell it, but I'm sure it's got a French flourish to it. So the mise en scène. What I'd like you to do is to look at, in particular, 2 scenes at the start of the Sandman, the family room or the living room, and then I want you to look at the stairway as the little child travels up to bed. What I need you to do is to notice everything. So there is a table that I would like you to complete. Now, I've completed a bit of the table to show you how much detail I want you to go in. And I've completed a bit on the table about the outside space. Because if you think when you watch the Sandman, it starts off with seeing outside the house, then you go in the living room, and then you go to the stairs. I have done the outside the house to show you, to model for you how much detail to go in. And I'd like you to notice, I'd like you to write on the living room and then to write on the stairs. I want you to talk about the colour palette. What kind of colours are blended together? Blues outside, is it different inside? What does that mean? For example, fun fact, did you know that police cells are often painted pink because it is a cold colour and designed to chill you out, not in a nice relaxing way, that's green, but in quite a cold, like de-stress you. You would never put a criminal into a red space because red is a colour, it's like a red rag to a bull. Red inflames our temper and it's quite a hostile colour, so you often find public spaces are not coloured red. So what about the colour palette inside the house and on the stairs? You're welcome to look up the psychology behind certain colours and to figure that out. I'd be very pleased if you did so. I also want you to look at what we call the background. What is in the background? Remember we talked about my background. What have you got today? You've got a piano and you've got, that's in my background. If I had something, let's try. Well, this is not very nice, but it's, so you had this here. It's a can of Diet Coke, not very healthy. This would be in the foreground and that's in the background. Okay, what's in the foreground and background of the living room? What's in the foreground and background of the stairs? What can you see? What props are there? What are the character holding? What does it mean? So I'm not asking you to pick out everything, but I'm asking you to pick out some special moments, some special details. For example, if you ever want to highlight the darkness of a space, you create something that we call a contrast. So if I ever wanted to make everything look really, really dark, yes, I'd create a dark space, but also have a little match and a little light, because if I had a candle, then it would make the darkness seem all the more darker. So that's why we use contrast. What is contrasting in this setting? So in some ways, the living room contrasts with the stairs. My question is why? Why would you want to set that up? What does the contrast mean? I'll give you a wee little bit of an idea. So, I haven't done this, I promise, because I'm not that mean. Am I? If I wanted to make a point, say now I wanted to make a point to your parents that you do no work and you're a terrible lazy pupil. Okay, so you're joking, you're not, you're lovely. But if I wanted to make that point and they were coming into my classroom, do you know what? I'd have your jotter, and I not only would just pick, I wouldn't pick anyone's jotter, I would pick the best pupil in the whole world's jotter, you know, and because I'd want, if I say, look, this is what one person does, and this is what your pupil does, that your child does, and the contrast between the brilliant jotter, which is way better than the average kid's jotter, and your jotter would be enough to make the point that you're not working enough. So every time there's a contrast, you've got to think to yourself, what is the point? Someone's gone to an awful lot of trouble to pick opposites. Why have they done it? What am I supposed to be taking from this? Similarly with foreshadowing. So if you think a shadow follows you around, is behind you in some respects, foreshadowing is something that goes before you. It's kind of like, you know, when you see a murder mystery play and you get to the end and you realise who's done it, and then you go and watch the play again or watch the film again and you see the clues more because you know who's done it and you know how they end. You know, you see her plant something in the library, which is really important later, but you didn't realise at the time. That's called foreshadowing. It's a detail that's deliberately put in place and it will mean something really important later. So foreshadowing takes a lot of effort. Is there any examples of foreshadowing in the settings, either with a prop or with the furniture or anything in the foreground or background? Then, after completing your notes, I would like you to have a look at the sentence starters, and you don't have to use all of them, but use some of them because they kind of put the key words into a sentence for you. And I really would like you to use some special words like mise en scène, foreground, background, contrast, foreshadowing. I'd like you to use those special words and explain to me how they are used creatively to create a frightening atmosphere. So I've talked for long enough again, sorry about that. And you can see I'm missing you, I just go on and on and on. I'm sorry. But I will let you get on with the lesson. I'm looking forward to reading these. You really are a clever bunch and I'm enjoying typing away my comments to you. Okay, bye folks.